Internets. I think we are recording now. Okay, and we have one more phone call coming
Oh,
in and one more person joining. Maureen is joining back.
I think I see Erin there. Hi, honey.
Hi, it's good to see you.
Oh, it's so good to see you. It's so good to see everyone. It feels so good to just feel connected. Jenny, thank you so much for making this possible.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Let me just make sure it's recording one more time. So, I am just so excited to be here with everyone. This is a really challenging time for all of us. We're all home. We all look super comfortable, though. I have to admit that we're and so, but what I've been hearing a lot from friends and family, and I teach yoga here locally and online, is really this thought about being isolated and having to be forced to be home. And then all of a sudden, we're in our day and age, we're all so busy. So we're constantly going and have all these things to do. And then all of a sudden, it's like, oh, we're home and we've got people in our face and our families right there. And so the words that I've been hearing a lot was that word isolation and social disconnection and feeling like just we don't have control. And so I thought it would be just a really good time for us to share about what we might be feeling and experiencing, and really how yoga can be part of the practice to help us move through that and really get through it. So hopefully that's all why you're here today. And I will share very quickly with you, I'm really passionate about this isolation feeling because I've been working remotely for 12 years. So everyone to me was like, oh, Jenny, this has got to be easy for you. Like you've been doing this forever. Well, it wasn't easy when I started working from home. I was 30 years old in the height of being social, height of my career taking off, being in the office, having lunch friends, getting married. And then they said, hey, Jenny, you can work from home now. That sounded great. It was perfect. So what did I do? I wore my pajamas every day. I did laundry instead of going to lunch, and it was great for like 2 weeks or 2 months. And then one day it just hit me, and it was like a brick wall, and I became completely isolated. I felt like no one heard me, no one was including me. I wasn't on team meetings. My husband was in the military, so I was by myself. And let me tell you, it started to snowball. It went from just feelings of isolation to feeling of self not feeling worthy, all the way down to, quite frankly, being hopeless and to panic. And then I had panic attacks. So, what I did was really found a way to get through it. And I know that that was something that was happening. So, I went to a psychologist, and he said, I thought he was going to, do some magic on me. But his magic that he gave me was breath. And he said, I want you to breathe. And I was like, that's what you want me to do? Like, get out of here. Like, that's not what I came here. I didn't want to hear about breath. So, with that, that's why I'm here to share these practices, because breath, meditation, and then eventually the actual yoga practice got me through that feeling of isolation. So, really just wanted to share that. And my connection with Jennifer and why we're here together to share this is, I'm in yoga therapy school now to be a yoga therapist. And Jen's been my mentor along the way. And I know Genevieve and some of us on here, and Val, hi Val, are also in the yoga therapy community. And when I heard Jen's story, now read her book, I was just like, oh my gosh, she's using these same practices for what she went through with eating disorders, and now sharing that with everyone. And the underlying pin of all of this is that these practices can help us in anything that we're going through in life, right? And it's just a matter of using the tools and ones that we need for what we're going through. So that's really the overall purpose of this, is to go through what type of yoga could be for you, and to hear what works for you, and for us to share this time and space. So, and Jen, did you want to add anything to that? I know you wanted to mention about with nutrition is much more than the food that we eat and all of this too. So,
Yes. In yoga philosophy, the way we define nutrition or nourishing ourselves is this idea of everything that we take in through our senses, right? Everything that we bring in through our eyes, through our ears, the environments that we're in, the people we interact with. And I know right now that, we are just saturated with so much information and stimulus. It's really easy to have the news on all day or be on social media all day, just in that, dire need to feel like we know what's going on, because it is just such a scary, unsettling time. And remembering that we need to balance out what we're taking in through our senses with the types of practices that Jenny's, going to be teaching us about today. Because if we're only taking in, our nervous systems just get flooded, right? And then we can't think clearly, and we go into that panic, and the fear just keeps being fed. So just being mindful and disciplined about how much from the outside you are taking in.
Awesome. Thanks, Jennifer. Anyone else want to add to that? Um, yeah, well, I thought for a moment before we even get into open conversation, and let's do that right now. So if you want to, wherever you are, whatever you're doing right now, just come into your mindful seat. Just get comfortable, and just let your body settle into your sits bones, and take a nice breath, and actually bring your mind's eye and your focus to your natural breath. No force, no, just be present and take a few rounds of breath. And staying with your breath, go ahead and take a few moments and think about your intention. So setting an intention is another key tool in our practices. What's your intention and purpose for being on this call right now? And what did you want to share? What would you like to take away? What is it that you need? And once you set your intention, go ahead and finish out with a few more rounds of breath, maybe 5, and bring your intention into your breath. So if it's I am powerful or I am supported, breathe that in, and then exhale, let go. And if you just want to bat your eyelashes a little bit and just come back to the present moment. So beautiful. How do you feel?
Good.
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 So calm. I hear a sense of calm, maybe, or
Very calm. I just got back from the stores and I needed that.
nice. Yeah. So this is definitely a practice. Those two simple practices, the breath and then the intention, as we go through the day and the weeks ahead. That simple practice is so key to whatever we're getting ready to do, right? Whatever task we're getting to move into. When your kids are getting to run into the door, anybody, or dogs or animals or whatever that is, you can just take that nice breath and have a purpose or intention with what it is you're going to say and how you communicate that, right? So, and for us that work together, Tracy and I work together and do a lot of meetings online, and we're constantly changing client to client to client to client with different attitudes and different things. And so using that breath and that intention, okay, helps you set and really calm that nervous system down. And this is really how we can start to with our own world and what's going on in any of the social change that we're going through to bring that mindfulness into it. So I wanted to open it up for questions or thoughts, or what anyone want to share. Why did you join today, or what would you like to know or hear or share?
I can start if possible.
Hi, Kate.
So I can relate with people telework. My company telework too. And what I try to is make a point of doing telework today, and then during the evening, what I typically like to do is go out and do yoga with friends or go to workout studios and form of exercise, gather
Kate,
around.
just so you know, you're cutting out.
Oh, sorry.
That's
Maybe
okay.
I think I have my speaker covered. And
There you go.
gathering around individuals who have the same goal focus. And right now, it's very hard for me because with us not really being able to out in the public. So I think the purpose of me joining today was being able to connect with individuals, even though it's virtual, it still helps as opposed to not being able to connect with anyone at all that has this like goal focus as you do. So I feel like this is very helpful for time, especially.
Nice. Thank you, Kate.
Mhm.
Yeah, seeing faces is really important. Connection's really important, for sure. Anybody else want to add or give contribution to Kate's thoughts?
I would have to ask. Oh, go ahead.
Go
I'm
ahead.
sorry. It's
Go ahead, Val.
Valerie. Yeah,
Hi, Val.
Hi,
I didn't hear,
Valerie.
I didn't hear everything that you said, but I think it had to do with, gosh, we're already just missing the human connection. And I wonder if anyone else is finding themselves way more glued to their computer, to their Facebook, to their electronics, which we know can sometimes interrupt really the connection that we have and the peace that we have. But I feel like it's kind of a lifeline. I'm working from home and I'm alone. And I'm having a hard time walking away from my computer and disconnecting from the electronics, which is not normal for me. So I think I just kind of wanted to come and feel like I'm in my yoga community in some small way, but yet here I still am, holding my smartphone in front of my computer. So it's just an interesting time.
Absolutely.
I think it is
Yes.
really so hard to disconnect, because like I think you said, Valerie, like it feels like a lifeline. And I'll share personally, like I've been really struggling to be still, to get myself to be still. I just got on my mat yesterday because I knew if I did not get back to it, it's going to just keep being harder to start again. Right? My kids are home. We just got a new dog. My husband's home. Like there is so much energy going on in my house. And forgetting, like if I just pause and take a breath, I can hit that reset button, and that is just as productive as doing homework with my kids, right? Like I think we can sometimes think that our practices are selfish in some ways, that they're not productive or not being productive, but we need them more than ever right now to balance out all that we are, holding in our beings with what's going on.
Yeah, absolutely. The good thing, I guess, Val, and I'm right with you. I feel like I can't get off the phone, but I have this morning I was like, you know what? The good thing is I'm using it for what it's needed for. For one time, you know what I mean? I'm like, I'm actually communicating and not just I mean, it really has been the communication tool. So that's been helpful just to think of it that way too. But it is, you don't want to, disconnecting is hard when we're being told to disconnect. I mean, it's like a double, edged sword. So anyone else feel that way or want to share?
Yeah, I think, Jenny, for me, it's getting on today was important to have a group of adults that I could have a positive, productive conversation with that was about, good things that we can be doing, because I find that I've actually been staying away from social media more than normal because I can't stand the things I'm seeing on there. It was bothering me, and I'm like, gosh, I'm just going to pretty much stay off other than helpful things that I'm putting out there to try and help people. Because I feel like people are, we're in one of those situations that's polarizing people. So tapping into these groups of positive conversations, I think, is so important and just fuels us for the day.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And the raising the energy and the vibration, right? Because it's really heavy. It just feels heavy, right? Like this layer of not only we're home, but now we're feeling heavy, we're feeling restrained, we're feeling, and so when we can come into this place of self-care, and I know that's a very cliche, like everyone's using the word self-care, but it is, right? I mean, it's bringing our vibration at the cellular level, which then really is the only way we can affect change out there and hopefully move through this too. So that's a great point, Jen. So thank you for that. And someone else was going to say something to Cynthia, was it? Yeah, no.
I do have a thought.
Yeah.
I'm in a challenging situation because what I do for a living, I'm an HR consultant. So I have to have, President Trump on now and my phone, and because I have a book of business of clients, small business owners that need my guidance on what to do with their business, what to do with their employees. So I'm, taking in so much data and information. I joined this call today, and Jennifer knows I took my first yoga class with her when she was in Rochester. So I'm a newbie, but I just needed, human interaction and just unplug and just listen to this beautiful group of women that are, I think we're all women.
I think we are.
Okay. On this call, it just, it fills my soul. So thank you.
Awesome. Thanks, Cynthia. Well, thanks for joining. Oh my gosh. Yeah, this community is just, it's phenomenal. And, something else too to think about with self-care, part of yoga philosophy too, and just in life, which I've had to really think about and I'm putting into practice every day myself, is self-work, family, work, community. And where do we spend most of that energy is sometimes in those other areas, which is fine, but it can really zap us, right? We're doing so much, we want to give so much, and that can feel like a lot. We get really, really tired, or you're so focused on your family. And Jen K, you just had, there's so many Jens on the phone. The Jen K, you said like you've got your kids and all that going on. So where is our energy? And taking that breath, taking that pause is where, bringing it back in. And if you need during this time some rest, the second thing is rest, making sure that you are resting. Again, really, really hard to do because all of us seem like we're really active women and individuals and busy and all of that. So it's hard to find the rest. But if we can go from maybe just time management and energy management, like how can we manage the energy in our day, and using those practices. So I don't know, anybody else with questions or how they're feeling?
I think
Jen,
I'm
one thing.
really,
Go
Go
ahead.
ahead.
Go ahead, Maz.
I think I'm really noticing a massive increase in my energy levels. I'm really struggling to discharge that, because I am a very active person. I work as a retail manager and I work part-time as a therapist, so I'm getting this negative energy coming from everywhere because my staff are obviously very concerned about their jobs. I have my clients who have their own worries, and I can physically feel that charge vibrating through me at all times, and that was why I joined today, so that I would have that time just to sit here and focus on me. And it's really good to know that I'm not the only person to be feeling this way.
That's awesome. Yeah, Maz, that's great because most of us on here are in yoga therapy, we're therapists, or in that realm, because it's so true. We get tired too. I mean, and then our job, we feel like we have to give. We want to help everyone, and we're trying to be the one with the energy and the positive light and bring everybody up, and it's exhausting. But we can't forget that. So what type of practices do you do for yourself, Maz?
I do a lot of yoga. I do yoga meditation. Yeah.
Awesome. Do you do it like throughout the day, or is there any time of day that works for you?
I normally practice first thing in the morning and just before I go to bed, but I have been literally anytime I can fit yoga or meditation in at this point, I'm just putting it in there. Yeah.
Yeah, with all this time, we'll all be at the top of a mountain. Maybe that's the goal.
If only.
Maybe, I don't know. Anyone else have some good practices that they're doing for themselves? Because I'd love to hear.
Hey, Jen, I just wanted to say that, for me, something I've realized this week that's really important having kids home from school is with that energy management. They want the attention because they're used to having 6-7 hours a day with their friends and other people to talk to, and suddenly they don't have that. And so they're defaulting to us for that attention and wanting of us during the day. And so it's been critically important for us to set boundaries with that. And I think everybody needs to really consider that for themselves in the energy management of setting and holding, right, those boundaries of saying, I understand you want to play a game and we will play a game at 4 o'clock or whatever it is, but that mommy and daddy have to get done X, Y, and Z right now, whether it's for our business, whether it's for self-care, whether it's I need to take a nap because if I hear one more thing, I'm going to go crazy, right? So, but just that giving yourself permission to set and hold those boundaries. And it will help keep the kids focused too, because, we've built, homeschooling schedules now for them and all these things, which, is it exactly on the hour when we switch subjects and do all those? No, we've given more leeway, but at least there's still structure. So everybody's got some sense of an expectation when we wake up every morning. It's not a free for all.
Yeah. Very nice. Yeah. Structure, discipline. Cynthia?
Oh no, I
Oh,
didn't say.
okay. Your screen zoomed in.
Oh,
It's like,
I
oh,
was gonna, I was
anybody
gonna
else? Yeah, Val?
Yeah, I was going to say I've been trying to spend a bit more time in nature because I can. I'm working from home. Unlike people with the kids, it's the opposite problem. It's like me and the dog. So some walks I think have been very, very, very helpful.
Yeah.
You're out of your house. You're still kind of, doing your social distancing or whatever, but you can get some fresh air, which I think is important, and you can kind of move through nature. So that's one way I've been handling it. I'm not finding enough time on my mat. I really thought I would be able to do this every day at lunch, but work itself has still been busy. My job goes right on.
Yeah.
And it's budget week on top of it. So it's just been meeting after meeting after meeting virtually. So I think my intention needs to be now take that lunchtime back for myself and either hit the mat or go outside, that kind of thing.
Yeah, that's a good point too, Val. I know with work, when I went virtual, um, you can take on too much because you're like, oh, I can do it as I'm home. I don't have to drive. I don't have to. So be mindful of that too if you are working from home, because that can really overtake you as well. Because now we're still required to work. I mean, we both do. Valerie and I are in the same line of work, and also, but it can be like, hey, Jenny's home. She's virtual. She can do it, or whatever that is. So just being mindful of that. Anyone else thoughts or want suggestions or
I wanted to echo the nature piece that Val said. I'm finding that on walks, with spring in the works, every time you take a walk, you can notice something different outside. It's really magical in a way. And I find, a flower has bloomed that wasn't there yesterday. And I don't know, in that moment when I recognize that, or I see like the new green coming from the trees, it's like I can take a breath and realize like the world is still going. Like the earth is still doing what it's doing. Like nature is still evolving, and there's something very comforting about that. Like it's like life is still going on. And that's been really helpful for me. I also have been trying to practice gratitude, because I find that it's very easy to get caught up in all of the unknowns. Like, are my children going to go back to school this year? I don't think so. What am I going to do? Right? Like, and how long is this going to happen? When am I going to see my parents again? And when am I going to, like, we can get so caught up in that. And I'm finding gratitude to be a really helpful practice to come back to, okay, I'm in my home, I'm with my family, I am safe, right? You are in your home and you are safe. And just finding gratitude in the unknown can be a very, very powerful practice.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you.
Yeah. And wishing others well, right? Like taking a pause to just send out like good wishes to the world. I know it kind of can sound a little corny, but it's important to just pause and like give in a way that we can, that is safe and has meaning.
Yeah, and what's really cool, I feel like all of us on this group do have these awesome practices, and to continue to share them with our family and friends, because that's the way we can make change, even though some of it is out of our control. And this is really why we are all probably here to do what we're doing, to be therapists, to share these good things, to really keep that vibration up in our homes, and then hopefully, what's happening around us. So anybody else, any other ways that it's affecting you, besides that you're home or using the internet? I mean, is there anything that we haven't, that, you want to express? Anything like that? No?
I have found like I'm pleasantly surprised by how meaningful my connections are in the last few days. Like when I do reach out to someone or talk to someone and ask how they're doing, as someone who is recently unemployed, I have like suddenly this space and time and like mind space in a way to just be the listener that I always want to be in those moments, and to just like really listen to each other and be right there. Like even just talking to my mom over FaceTime. She's actually in Rochester, New York.
Ah,
Yeah. Just like talking with her and just having not really anything to talk about. We're not really doing anything, the both of us, but we just finally have like a certain amount of space to connect, when normally I would be like running to work and calling her on the phone while I'm like on a train and it's about to go underground. It's just like such a different way of connecting. And I don't know, I'm trying to focus on how positive that is at this time.
that is so true.
Oh,
Thanks,
great.
Maureen. Yeah, I mean, like you said, the quick phone call that we get, hi, Mom, I'll talk to you later. Bye, gotta go. Right.
Right. Yeah.
So, yeah, finding those deeper connections. So, yeah, if anyone else has anything to share, I know we're coming up on 12:30. It's lunchtime. So,
I think focusing on
yeah.
the positivity is like a really important thing. And trying to see the positives rather than the negatives. So like I went to the supermarket first thing this morning because it's like 4:30 here in the UK. And couldn't get anything that I wanted to buy, but I was able to buy a bunch of flowers, which actually made me smile. And people did look at me very strangely when I stood in the queue to pay for this one bunch of flowers, but it made me smile, and I was really grateful that I was able to get them.
Oh, that's beautiful.
That's really
Yes.
nice.
Yeah. Well, first of all, I want to thank every single one of you for joining today. I hope this was helpful and supportive, and that was the goal for today. So just so you know, I have You Yoga Wellness, and it's a yoga. I don't have a studio, so it's really, I teach yoga at different hotels in Ocean City. I live in Ocean City, Maryland, and then I'll be a yoga therapist here in June. So we'll Val and Genevieve will be one as well. So we're all here to support each other. And for those of you that take Class Kate and come to some of the classes, I do have virtual classes. So there'll be virtual classes tonight, Friday night, and Saturday. So I'll continue those 3 classes virtually. And then I'm doing a $10 membership just for the month, and you can join any class that you want or any of those things. And then with that is I'll be doing these fireside chats once a month. So I've committed to that through the end to however long we need it. So I'm not sure if this is going to be the right time frame, but what I'll do is I'll send a form out so you guys can make suggestions. This was the very first one, so if there's suggestions, topics, video questions, or anything better that we could do or that you liked and want to stay the same, let us know. And then Jen, hopefully you can continue to join us. Jen Dummich also has her own services with going into corporations. She's a mindfulness coach, so she's also there as well. So with that, let's just take a minute and just bring your hands to heart center if you'd like, and just take that nice deep breath in for a few rounds of breath. Go back to the intention that you started with. And then as you move about your day, I wish you all well, health. Use the practices that we talked about today. They're going to ebb and flow as the day shifts. It might be breath, it might be movement, it might be nutrition that you need later. Just notice that for yourself. Notice the energy that you're giving out and that you're receiving or not receiving, and make the shifts that are necessary in your life. So with that, everyone, thank you so much. Namaste.
Namaste. Thank you, Jen,
Namaste.
so
Thanks,
much.
everyone. Bye.
So good to
Thank
see you all.
you.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
Jennifer, for joining. Thanks.
Thank
Nice
you,
meeting everyone.
everybody. Thank you so
Bye.
much. Bye.
Bye. Now to figure out how to turn it off.